Hello guys and welcome to the final act of Macbeth, Act 5, the last video in this series where I've been going through every single act scene by scene, picking out some key quotes, making sure you understand it. If you've clicked on this video and you've not yet watched Act 1, 2, 3 or 4, there's going to be a little bar up here that you can click on that will take you right back to Act 1. I'll put it back to Act 1. So you can click on that if you do need to go back to watch from the very beginning, which I would recommend because it will give you all the flow up to this point and you'll know what's been going on. But if you've followed it this far and you're not yet subscribed to the channel, what are you thinking? Let's subscribe to the channel. Leave a like on the video if you find it helpful. And as always, leave a comment if you have any questions and I will definitely get back to you. But with that said, let's crack on. Let's finish this off. What a mammoth task Macbeth is. But here we are, Act 5, Scene 1. Now, there's lots of scenes. It's actually got the most amount of scenes in this act, but there's lots of short scenes. So it probably won't take us that long to go through. I don't know. Maybe it will. I don't know. Scene 1. The sleepwalking scene. Lady Macbeth is showing her mental state. And we actually haven't seen Lady Macbeth for a very long time. The last time we saw Lady Macbeth was at the end of the banquet scene where the ghost of Banquo appeared. And we haven't seen her since. And now we kind of know from this scene, scene 1 of Act 5, what's been going on with her. She's basically lost her mind. So a doctor and a maid are talking about Lady Macbeth's recent sleepwalkings where she imagines she's washing her hands. I wonder why that might be. If you remember from Act 2, right at the very beginning of the act where she plants the daggers on the guards and she comes back to Macbeth and she says, "My hands are of your colour now, but I shame to wear a heart so white." Her hands being the colour of red because of blood. And she's washing her hands trying to get rid of the blood. Ironic because in Act 1, Scene 5, she said to the spirits to unsex her and fill up the passage and access to remorse. Stop me feeling guilt. Well, it didn't work for you, did it? Because now you're feeling quite guilty for your involvement. The maid is scared to say what Lady Macbeth has been saying while she's in her sleep, but we're going to find out what that is because she's now going to enter. She's trying to get this blood off her hands and she says, "Will all the perfumes of Arabia not sweeten this little hand?" Think of the juxtaposition there from Lady Macbeth in Act 1 to Lady Macbeth in Act 5. Notice how she says little hand, almost like she's trying to make herself feminine again. Very big contrast from Act 1 where she wanted to be more like a man. She asked the spirits to unsex her, basically take away her femininity, to be more manly. But here she is, full 180. Great quote that to learn. I mean, 100% you've got to learn that. Little hand, big contrast. She shows her guilt by saying, "Here's the smell of blood still." And who would have thought the old man to have so much blood in him? And it's here that the doctor and the maid know that they're talking about Duncan, the old man being Duncan, the king. So that's basically just indicated that what we all probably knew, which is that Macbeth was responsible and Lady Macbeth was also responsible as well. So yeah, she's basically just revealed that. She also reveals Banquo's death and also the murder of Macduff's family. She says, she sort of almost like sings this very spooky rhyme. She says, "The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now?" Kind of really, really dark. And that, of course, indicates to the doctor and the maid that she must be responsible because she knows how Macduff's family were killed. So Lady Macbeth leaves her little sleepwalk and the maid and the doctor are super freaked out by all this and they say they dare not speak about it, but they will end up speaking about it, I'm sure. Scene 2, short one. Here we've basically got one of those summary scenes that we've had all the way through the play where basically Shakespeare just says what we've missed in between the scenes that he couldn't be bothered to write. No, I'm sure not. Angus, Menteith and Caithness discuss recent events. Here, they say his secret murders sticking on his hands. Notice all these metaphors about hands, things sticking to hands, blood and stuff like that. Basically saying Macbeth's crimes are now public knowledge. They've been revealed to everyone. We learn that Malcolm has an army. They say the English power is near, led on by Malcolm. Obviously, English power meaning the army. And that's the end of that scene. Didn't really need to know much about that. That's why it's super short. Scene 3. Macbeth is really angry that Malcolm and England are coming towards his castle. He says, "What's the boy Malcolm?" Very dismissive of him. He's very defiant. He says, "The heart I bear shall never sag with doubt nor shake with fear." Which is quite ironic because we've actually seen the fear of Macbeth, like when we saw the Banquo ghost scene at the banquet. So we've seen that he has fear, but here he is trying to be defiant, almost trying to get himself hyped up for this battle, saying, "I'm not scared. We know you are, mate." A servant enters and says, "There is 10,000. So now we know how big this English army is. It's 10,000 men, which is quite a big army back in those days. Macbeth is really angry and tells a servant to take thy face hence, which I think is quite a good sort of insult, really. Take thy face hence. Macbeth says, "I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked." So basically, it's coming full circle from Act 1. In Act 1, we saw how what a great warrior he was. And now he's back in warrior mode. He's sort of got over his kind of real mental troubles. He sort of is back to the old Macbeth, only unfortunately, everything that he's done has now, basically made it that he's a tyrant. Links back to him being a great soldier at the beginning. The doctor tells Macbeth how ill Lady Macbeth really is. And Macbeth doesn't really register that. He says, "I'll just cure her of that." He says, "You must be able to go into her mind and find what's troubling her and get rid of it." Of course, this is not really the way it works. He refers to her mind as a mind diseased. Scene 4. And here you've got these series of very short scenes, literally just some of them only sort of 5 or so lines long. And here, Malcolm orders his troops to hew him down a bough, basically means cut down a branch of a tree, and bear it before him, keep it in front of them, in order to shadow the numbers of our host, basically cover up our 10,000 men so Macbeth doesn't know what's coming his way. Although we just saw in the last scene, Macbeth does know it's 10,000. But anyway, why is that important? Well, we need to think back to that last scene with the witches where they said that Macbeth will never vanquished be till Birnam Wood come to great high Dunsinane Hill. Basically, till Birnam Wood moves to Dunsinane. Macbeth laughed that off and said that will never happen. That is impossible. But here we see how it actually is possible, because all the branches are being moved so it will look like the wood is moving. Really clever imagery from Shakespeare, I think, there. Scene 5. Macbeth says, "I've almost forgot the taste of fears." Lovely metaphor there, taste of fears. Definitely worth learning that. Saying that really he's kind of, everything has gone almost so wrong in his reign as king. He's had to kill so many people and everything like that, it's almost like he's just over being scared. Almost like he's sort of given up, really, with being scared. Unfortunately, well, not really unfortunately, but we learn here that Lady Macbeth is dead. He learns that. A messenger comes in and says, "The Queen, my lord, is dead." And we actually find out how she dies at the very end of the play. If you know the answer, leave it down in the comment for me and you get a gold star. Macbeth seems quite upset and says, out, brief candle, life's but a walking shadow." And in a way, it's kind of a little bit, I say sad, it's not really, but you know what I mean? It's sort of, he just sort of looks back and just sort of says, I think what he's really saying is that, life won't be the same and that her life was too short. Brief candle, bit of a metaphor there. Yeah, kind of sad, I suppose. Anyway, a messenger says, "Methought the wood began to move." As they were looking out on their duty, they said the wood began to move. Now think about how much that's going to freak Macbeth out. He's like, "Oh my God, the wood moving." But that's exactly what the witches said. Oh no, maybe I am under threat here. And he just calls them a liar and a slave. And he says to them, "If thou speaks false," so if you're lying, "upon the next tree shalt thou hang. I will hang you. You will die. You will be executed if you're lying." Again, plays into him as being a tyrant, someone who's ruling through fear, using their authority for the worst. Macbeth realizes he's in trouble and he states to ring the alarm bell. "Blow wind, come rack, at least we'll die with harness on our back." Harness, I think, referencing armor. So at least we'll die in battle, which is, he was a warrior from Act 1. So in a way, everything's come full circle. he's going to die, you know, in the way of the warrior. Again, really short scene here. Just Malcolm saying, right, guys, lower your branches. Let's attack the castle. End of scene. Very scene. You know, in your play, you'll have seen it. It's like 3 lines long. Scene 7, getting there. Macbeth kills a young soldier called young Siward, who is actually the son of Siward, who is an English knight, landowner, who is fighting with Malcolm. We hear from him at the very end. But something that not a lot of people pick up on here is we witness a couple of kids be killed. We saw Lady Macduff's son be murdered. Who by? Well, the murderers, but by Macbeth. And here, there are multiple references to young Siward being very young, a very young soldier. And again, Macbeth kills him. Why does Shakespeare do this? Well, of course, it's to make Macbeth even more evil. The fact that he's killing innocent young people. Not that young Siward is that innocent. He is fighting, you know, against Macbeth. He has the right to kill him, I suppose. But yeah, you know what I mean. So this soldier, young Siward, is the son of the Earl of Northumberland, who is Siward, called Siward in the play. But, yeah, not a particularly important character. Macduff enters, and he's very vengeful, and he says, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. Oh, yeah, kind of great metaphor here. And it really just shows what is driving Macduff forward here. It's to get revenge against Macbeth for killing his family. So scene 8, Macbeth re-enters and then fights with Macduff. Macbeth shows a little bit of cowardice. He says, of all men else I have avoided thee. And he says directly to Macduff, I will not fight thee. I always think, like, why does he say that, Macbeth? Because he's supposed to feel that he's invincible. Why is he scared of Macduff? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of that. Yeah, I just kind of find it's weird that Macbeth's like, yeah, we'll die with harness on our back, you know, armor, we're gonna fight. He's just killed young Siward, and then Macduff rocks up. He's like, no, I'm not gonna fight you. It's like, yeah, you're supposed to be a warrior, dude. What's wrong with you? And here, of course, this is where we get this prophecy revealed. Macduff says he was not born of woman because he says Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped. So basically, before he could be born, he was taken out of his mother's womb through cesarean, as we call it. And of course, that is going to freak Macbeth out because he now knows, right, the wood has moved. He was not born of woman. My time is up. And Macduff really taunts Macbeth and he says, then yield thee, coward. We'll have you as our rarer monsters are, painted upon a pole and under it, here lies the tyrant. It's a great quote. It basically means we'll stick you on a pole and underneath we're going to write, here lies the tyrant. Again, more references to Macbeth being a tyrant. They fight, and of course, everyone knows Macbeth is killed. Last one, scene 9. That's where it all ends, guys. Siward, the Earl of Northumberland, learns that his son has been killed by Macbeth. And he's kind of really all right about that. He says, well, although he lived a very short amount of time, I wouldn't have wished him die any other way, basically, in battle. Which is kind of like sad. You know, but it just shows what it was like in medieval England. You know, fighting for what you thought was right, fighting for an army that you were supporting, fighting for a king you were supporting, and dying on that battlefield was a good thing. That's what they believed back then. Macduff enters with Malcolm's head and says, behold where stands the usurper's cursed head. So usurper means someone who takes something that doesn't belong to them, normally a title of some kind. Here, of course, Macduff is referencing that Macbeth should never have been king of Scotland. He usurped the throne. He took what should not have been his. It should have been Malcolm's the whole time. Malcolm at this point accepts the throne of Scotland. And he does something quite interesting, which we're going to come to in the next video when we look at context that you need to know for Macbeth. Go into a little bit of history there. But here he names all Scottish thanes shall now be known as earls, which is the English way of doing things. And there's a very important reason why. I don't want to give it away yet. You'll have to watch the context video. But there's a very good reason why he does say that. He basically wants to align Scotland with the way England do things to get them closer together, which we'll learn about. Finally, Malcolm reveals, I hope you got your answers in at the bottom. Malcolm reveals that Lady Macbeth killed herself. She says, by self and violent hands took off her life. So we now know Lady Macbeth killed herself. She didn't die of natural causes because of her guilt or whatever. She killed herself. We don't know how, actually. We don't know how, but she did kill herself. Now, that's quite interesting. Her final act that she does in the play is also a sin, because in the Bible it would be deemed as a sin to take your own life, to commit suicide. So it's funny because nothing Lady Macbeth ever does in the whole play is a good thing. Like, everything she does is bad. Even the final thing she does is also against God. And there we go, guys. That is it. That is the end of Act 5 for Macbeth. Thank you so much for watching the video. And also, if you genuinely, I really mean this, if you've watched this all the way from Act 1, I really hope you've learned something. I hope that even though I blasted through this, I bet you at school you did this play over like a term. Think about it. We've gone through it in a couple of hours, really. And I really hope it has helped. And I hope that you have picked out those quotes that I've kind of done a little bit of analysis for you and kind of told you what it means or what you could say about it and why it's interesting. So I hope that really, really helps. And if it has helped, do leave a like on the video. It really helps me out. And yeah, like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Right now on the screen, I'm going to put a link to the final video in the series, which is where I'm going to go through all of the context from Macbeth. So click on this, it will be there or there, and I will catch you there. Thank you.